How much time did you spend in juvenile that one time?
I think I did 6 months.
Okay. You didn't tell anybody.
Right.
So you come out, and now you got your stripes. You did your time in juvie. You didn't snitch on anybody. Now your status is raised in the gang when you come back home. So now you're a bigger gangster now.
Right.
How did that feel to come back to the neighborhood after doing some time?
It's almost like I came from a long vacation and everybody was just so happy to see you. And I remember walking down the street. It was the best way that I could explain is that sitcom from Cheers where everybody knows your name and they're always glad you came. I felt that aura within you. When you have 10, 15, 20 people, you know, kind of applauding you, putting out the red carpet, even the ladies, even the people from the neighborhood that knew you before you were from a gang. And then your little brother walking around with you and, you know, this kid's just looking up to you. And then and then the girls, if you will, as well, you know, like the homegirls, hey, what's up, clever? And it was just a natural high, if you will. Like you came back and you're being applauded and recognized for what you did.
Well, you said you were actually ready to die to protect your neighborhood.
Right.
You know, it's kind of ironic because I assume your mom was probably renting her house.
An apartment.
An apartment.
An apartment.
So you're willing to die to protect a neighborhood that you don't even own.
Right.
You're just renting.
Yeah.
Land that you have no ownership or claim to, but you're willing to give up your own life for this rented piece of land.
Right.
Does it seem a little crazy now that you think about it?
Absolutely. It's definitely crazy. It makes no sense. And at the time right there when I was trying to search, look for an identity or, you know, being in that camaraderie, if you will, with your other friends, you know, back then it made a lot of sense for us, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty much, I wouldn't say all we knew because I never had that lifestyle where you hear these horrific stories where, you know, kids were beating or being abused, you know, when they were younger. I don't think my mom ever hit me. It's just me taking all that stuff for granted. But the stuff about just me being caught up in that cycle of violence and me not wanting to be the victim anymore, but more of the perpetrator, if you will. Yeah. I started to look beyond that stuff. But no, you bring a great point. It makes a lot of sense. It doesn't make sense now, you know.
What was the most violent thing that you were involved in?
I believe it was fights. With me, you know, I was never much of a gun person or anything like that. I was kind of more of fighting. You know, gangs will fight. We will fight in parks
with weapons or just with the fists.
A lot of times it would be with fists, if you will. Somebody would probably bring a baseball bat, a cane. People would bring bottles, whatever they could go ahead and bring. But I don't remember people bringing guns. Maybe probably people to break up the fight shot a gun up in the air. But I was really known for fighting within the juvenile facilities. And I guess because I was so used to that, that's kind of what I brought to the street as well.
Well, you were not getting shot, but your friends were getting killed.
Right. Well, I was getting shot at, but
you weren't actually getting hit with bullets. But your friends weren't as lucky.
Right.
So now, as a teenager, you're going to funerals.
Right.
You're losing your friends, and these are your homies. These are the guys, your brothers.
Right.
You're in the same gang, and you know you're going through this trauma as a young man.
Right.
Going through all this, and I guess at 16 you were thinking about leaving the gang, but you described it as it's like telling a Catholic to stop being a Catholic.
Right. Yeah, you start taking a moral inventory of your life at that time. And it was 16, but it felt like you were 20-something or 30-something because nobody was live past the age of 18. And I was already starting to reach that age. And I was like, man, am I even going to go ahead and make it to 18? People were living day by day. And I remember going to these funerals and me and a homie going and saying, man, you know, my homie, you know, you put the rest in peace, you put the homie in the shirt. And then you're like, man, I hope it's not me next time. And a lot of times it was that person that was next. It was that person in the coffin. And I remember a specific story where a mom was trying to wake up his son in the coffin. Trying to wake up a son. I remember another ordeal where another guy was being laid to rest, and the mom, she was being held back because she had to she was trying to jump into the hole with him.
Sad.